Arnold's belt and so forth, and T-shirt. And I put it in my magazine, 2-page spread, and I didn't charge him for it. After over a year, he said, "Joe, what am I going to do? I have saved up almost $40,000. What business should I go into?" So you don't go into any business, because business will detract you from everything and give you trouble. What you should do is take your money and invest it in real estate. The real estate will grow, and you will have interest, and you won't have to worry. You'll be able to go to study acting and anything you wanted to do, and it'd be a free brain. So he said, "That's a good idea." He did it.
Wow.
And then after 6 months later, he says, "Joe, I got to go to this college. I got to get more educated in business and so forth," because when he made his 40,000, he figured he wanted to be in business. But he didn't have money, so I gave him money to go to college. So that's why he figured I'm like a father to him. What does a father do? Helps the son, gets him a car, place to stay, education, and so forth. And he remembered all that.
So is a mentor important with people? I mean, isn't that the key for people, having someone who can be that leader for them?
Yes, but also they could also visualize them. Because when I was 14 and 15 and 16, I visualized, a leader. But when I was about 17, I met Jawet. He was an old-time strongman. He ran a business in Philadelphia, and he kind of liked me because I bought a barbell set off him, which cost about $7. And I wrote him, "I only can send you 25 cents a week or weekly. Would you accept that? And when I build up my $7, you'll send me a barbell set?" He says, "Of course." And he admired me for doing that.
That's great.
That's why when he left Philadelphia, where his business was, and went to Mooresburg, where his family lived. So he stopped off in Montreal, and for a few days he was with me and my family, and he inspired me.
That's great. Everyone needs an inspiration. Now, I understand that you are the visionary. You've said a lot about visualizing your result, right? Visualizing what you wanted. And someone who has partnered with you and has been involved with you since conception, obviously, is your brother, actually your younger brother.
Well, he joined me in 1945. I went into business in 1939 because he was in the Army. And since I was a publisher, they didn't take any publishers into the Army. Anybody that served the public, they didn't take. And so when he got out of the Army, I put him to work for me, and then we got together, and that was it.
What makes you two get along so well? In your book, it says Ben believes that your brains were made for each other. Your thinking is balanced.
I love people. I care for people. I figure that people have enough trouble in life just to get by, that I don't want to add any trouble to their lives. And I just like people.
Right.
I don't like to be mean. I don't like to be cruel to people. I don't like to make them feel inferior. Nothing. I just love people.
It's great.
That's why in all my years of work, I was always happy. I have buddies, and they loved me. Even the women who came to work for us said, "Oh, this is like going home to my own home, my own family."
Wow.
They considered the jobs they had there was part of the family.
That's important. Speaking of women, Would you tell me about that one special woman in your life and when you met her? Tell me about Betty. She is just so beautiful, I have to tell you. She's gorgeous. So
Yeah, as well as
tell me about that time you met her.
uh, she was a model. She's one of the top models. And she posed for pictures for photographers, and they sold her pictures. And I bought her pictures, and I put it into our magazine, the covers, and it sold fantastic. My sales went way up when I used her.
Smart man.
What?
I said smart man.
Well, most people wanted her, you know, for covers and so forth. And some fellow, a photographer in Hollywood, photographed her cover for me. And he was talking she was talking about psychology, all kinds of serious subjects. She says, I know a guy who will fall in love with you. He lives in New York. He gave her my name because he loves the same subjects. And nothing happened, naturally. But when she came to New York for a play, she was in a play, and she goes always looking through magazines because of pictures and so forth. Not only her pictures, but she got used to love it, like looking at pictures in the magazines and reading them. And as she came across my name, Joe Weider, publisher, I said, oh my God, that's the guy who's supposed to be marrying me. She remembered it, and she called. She was in New York. If I wanted any modeling, she's available within a couple of weeks before she goes back to California. I said, okay. And I gave her a job. I had a photographer, an associate there. And during the photography, we talked a lot, and we kind of liked each other. Yeah, but it took me almost 3 months before I was able to even get close to her, because she was very
guarded, right?
Yeah. She wasn't running around. She was very guarded. She was well brought up. After 3 months, when I asked her if she would like to go out to eat after the job, and she said, okay. So we went out to eat, and as we were eating, you know, her hand was on the table, so I just happened to touch it.
Oh, you happened to touch her hand?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and that was it. But every time, she's a very shrewd woman. She knows psychology, she knows business, she knows what's good, what's not good. Very bright. Right. So I always, when I did something, I would show it to her and get her opinion.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's a big compliment to her. She's strong too, I would imagine,
Yeah.
right? Strong cookie, right? Strong. That's
Yeah,
great.
and she didn't have, you know, loads of men loved her. They sent her fur coat, diamonds, and everything. She sent everything back. She wouldn't take anything from anybody. She said, if you take anything from anybody, you're obligated. And I don't want to be obligated to any man. So I was really, you know, in love with her, and that was it.
Right, right. That's great. That's great. What would you say in terms of who you are today and all the life that you've been living and that you'll continue to live? What are some great lessons that you've learned about yourself as a person?
You see, when I was about 16, I improved so much, and I felt so good, you know, after building myself up, because basically I felt like I was nothing. I had barely finished public school, couldn't go to high school, I felt inferior, and I had to read to get educated, I had to educate myself. And as soon as I began training, my whole life changed. I figure if I can change my body, I can change my mind and I can change the world. So I decided that I have to give this message to the world.
Oh, I
The
love that.
bodybuilding, I believe in bodybuilding, exercise, diet, fresh air, relaxation, and to be tender and loving. That was my philosophy.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Joe, what I found interesting, in 1950, you wrote your predictions. Tell me about those.
Well, in those days, it was like the dark ages. And for fitness, no woman would touch her weight, no woman would exercise, no woman sweated. You know,
Right.
and men, didn't think they were so powerful. They didn't think they should pick up weights and all that kind of stuff. But my message was I just mentioned to you, that I had to give it to the world. So I came up with those 10 points that I have to bring to the world and make people aware of it. For instance, if you trained with weights and you wanted to be on a team, a football player, you got thrown off the team because you got muscles, so you'll get muscle bound and you won't be able to play and so forth. They're crazy ideas. But now, if you don't train with weights, you're thrown off the team. So it's just the reverse. Medical doctors were against exercise, was against weight training, any of that sort of stuff. They thought it was do you harm. They didn't even believe in the diet. They say eat whatever your body tells you. If you enjoy it, eat. That was it. So I had to get my ideas together.
Did you get these ideas from someone else, or did you create these
Well,
predictions?
it must have come from reading.
Right.
Everybody said something. It must have registered in my mind.
Right.
But I happened to put it all together.
Right. You brought it all together
Yeah.
so we can understand it,
Yeah.
right? So people can understand
Yeah,
it.
well,
How would you like to be remembered in your career, in your life? How would you like people to think about you when they think of Joe Weider?
well, some poor slob.
Oh, really?
Worked
With a
his-
vision?
Worked his head off
Okay.
to bring a message of health and fitness and bodybuilding and shaping to the world. And that was it.
That's great.
I did a lot of reading.
You read a lot? What were some favorite books of yours that you
Oh,
read?
I read all kind of books. I remember one time something that was very fascinating in a book I was reading about Nietzsche, the German philosopher. I said to my sister, I want you to sit down. I want to read something to you. You have to learn. I was trying to preach to my
Right.
family and those people. And she sat down and she had to listen.
That's why you got along with Betty, because she listened, huh? She
Well,
listened to me.
yeah, Betty listens and doesn't
She
listen.
appreciated it, though. She appreciated the
She
intelligence.
has a brain of her own.
Exactly. And she could respond intelligently, right?
Yeah, but
Without just,
by that time I already was grown up.
right.
Yeah. I just had to tell people, I was like Paul, with Jesus' message.
Right.
He had to preach it to the world.
Right. Do you still feel that way?
Yes. Look all the gyms that opened.
Right.
How it was shaped and changed. How women are shaped and changed. In fact, when my wife did an ad for stockings or shoes, she couldn't stand on the floor because there might be her muscle would show. So they had to put it on a swing so no muscles would show. That's how much they disliked my muscle.
So you changed the way people see
That's what they
bodybuilding.
tell me.
Yes, that's what they tell you. You're very humble, and I appreciate that.
Well,
Yes.
that's what they tell me. People I meet that, you know, some men who are 60, 65, 70, they tell me, you know, when I was a kid, I got your courses and I still train today. That's why I'm in such good shape. And they were in good shape.
How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel good.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're doing good things for people. I didn't
Right.
tell them to smoke, drink, chase women. I told them to live a good, healthy life.
Right. How important are thoughts, healthy thoughts, just as much as eating well? How about your thinking?
Well, you know, when you start lifting a weight, unconsciously, you're lifting weight and you're fighting the weight. And within you, even without thinking, you're getting tough. You got to do to lift the weight and the muscles and so forth. So you're using your inner self
Right.
to teach you that if you could change your life being a poor nothing, if you can change your body, it means possibly you can change other things. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, psychiatrists will say anybody who lifts weights is a repressed homosexual. They look into a mirror, they're narcissistic. That's what they thought. They didn't think that they look in a mirror for criticism, not for love, you know, and the exercise really improves your brain. They had studies done in many colleges that those who exercise in the college are much smarter than the fellows who don't.
I absolutely
Because
agree.
it stimulates your
Stimulates,
body,
right.
blood goes to your head, oxygen goes to your head, improves your brain.
Right, right. Now, speaking of which, as far as the you were a publisher at the beginning, right?
Right.
And you've also shaped not only bodybuilding, you've shaped the way we see the magazines, which show bodies and people
Yeah,
in
well,
shape. I mean, tell us
I'll
a
tell
little
you
bit.
the story.
Yes.
But you know, we have shape. People from different parts of the world wanted to know what to do to get in shape. And we gave them rights, and we gave rights to the Russian. There's a woman who publishes a magazine, but she wanted to publish Shape. And she asked me for permission to reprint it, and I paid a small amount of money for it. And within 2 years, she wrote me a letter. You know, your exercises and diets and so forth changed all the Russian women. Now they know how to slim down because they were fat and everything else. And she told me how it changed all the women in Russia.
And that's all you needed to hear, that you'd helped.
Well, I'm
Change.
just glad that people
That's
were
great.
training. I
Right.
hope that everybody trains.
Right.
Because the person that doesn't train, they're going to deteriorate.
Joe, there's a portion in here in this book, and I'm going to read it. It's very special, and it's what the child needs but doesn't get, he searches for his whole life. Tell me about that.